pressure.
Without any further ado, I'd like us to welcome Miss Jen Friel.
Yeah, is the projector up? Oh, yes. Yeah, this is literally like the coolest thing ever. I'm just going to preface this. I never went to college. I finished high school when I was 16, so the fact that like I totally circumvented the whole college thing and immediately went to like being professor for a day is kind of making my life. This is like literally like a top life moment for me right now, and it's been an amazing day, and I'm, like I said, very, very, very humbled to be here. I lead a very different lifestyle. I'm incredibly alternative, but it sort of is becoming the new alternative, and there are areas in this field that you guys could absolutely take advantage of. Literally, leaving here tonight, you guys could be doing any of the stuff that I'm going to be presenting to you today. I was at, oh, perfect. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so at Jen Friel is a corporate-sponsored minimalist who gave up everything she owned to find happiness and currently spent the last year urban camping, living with readers of her site, Talk Nerdy to Me Lover, documenting all of her adventures in social media, which included, but were not limited to, crashing the 2010 Grammys to meet Pete Cashmore, dancing on stage with Prince, hosting on the red carpet at the 2011 Academy Awards, eating beef jerky for 30 days, having her arm lit on fire, which felt really good, skydiving, flying cross-country with Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top and the Fonz, learning how to drive stick on the Ford test driving track in Dearborn, Michigan, and going out on over 103 dates in 9 months from OkCupid in an attempt to document the organic route of attraction. She's previously worked for the founders of MySpace, launching his startup Live Video, and was also a model on Deal or No Deal, 5 episodes on the syndicated version, number 16, and for Snorketease, respectively. She has started a new media production company with Mashable's Ben Parr and has a scripted and unscripted TV show in development and a book deal. This is me on paper. It's a lot of information and a lot to be thrown at you. This is me in person. This is me and my grandmother. I, at Jen Friel, was born a nerd. These are where I spent my summers growing up, hanging out with my grandparents' friends, and playing solitaire. I was literally the most epic solitaire player ever, and like I used to build like really gnarly House of Cards. I grew up never being able to relate to people my own age, always sort of finding wisdom and inspiration, and I don't know, and just in dealing with elders and just people older than me in general. These are some of my absolute happiest memories as a kid. On the day this picture was taken was November 3rd, 2009. I didn't realize that this was actual photographic evidence of the moment that my life changed. On November 3rd, 2009, I went to the 140 conference in LA, which is a Twitter-based conference, hence the 140. And I was at a turning point in my life. The week before, I had just had my heart broken by a guy, and I mean, really had my heart broken. Like, couldn't breathe, like, days became longer, like, I mean, insert every dramatic cliche you could possibly imagine. I pictured spending the rest of my life with this person. I pictured sort of being with them in a lot of ways, and when that was gone, I didn't know what to do. And I had been a successful model. I had a great career in sales. I was a registered actor with a Screen Actors Guild. I had all these things that I should have been amazingly proud of, but I wasn't, and I didn't know why. But at this conference, I noticed a trend. For the first time, people were talking nerdy in Los Angeles. All of these people were so, like literally everyone at the conference was like ridiculously hot. And at tech conferences before, you'd see a bunch of like middle-aged, overweight men, you know, just talking about their cell phones in various capacities. This was the first time that tech was really becoming cool. And in that moment, I was like, dude, nerds are totally gonna be hot, cool, sexy, and techie. If anyone can make nerds hot, cool, sexy, and techie, it could be me. So that night, I launched Talk Nerdy to Me Lover on my roommate's bed. I didn't even have my own bed yet, because mine was still in storage. So on his bed, I came up with the name, just kind of, it was cheeky. I was like, Talk Nerdy to Me, I really like. I was like, well, who do I want to talk nerdy to me? I was like, oh yeah, my lovers, just having my heart broken. So November 3rd, 2009, the date that this picture was taken, I launched a website. Where there is a will, there is always a way. I was totally that person on Facebook and on Twitter that would always update these like gnarly mantras, like, you know, quotes from Confucius, John Lennon, like basically like everyone, and we all have those friends that just perpetually post all of these things, like, keep going, friend, like post like hang in there kitty pictures and all this stuff. So that was totally me. it was just one that I gravitated to. It was always just sort of in the back of my mind that, you know, you can really do anything in this world. Where there is a will, there is always, always, always a way. So I was on Twitter one afternoon, and how many people here read Mashable? God, no one! Literally, like 2 people. Oh my God. Mashable, write this down. You need to know about Mashable. If you are in the tech field in any capacity, you need to know about Mashable. Mashable is the social media guide to everything. It's tech, it's amazing. Mashable is amazing, 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 amazing. The guy who runs it, or founded it, his name's Pete Cashmore. Literally, and ladies, he is the Brad Pitt of social media. He's the king of social media. He's the most influential person on Twitter, literally, as named by like Time and like CNN. Huge dude, but like super uber hottie. Like this guy is like ridiculous, like stone cold fox. So he tweets out that he's going to the Grammys, and the Grammys are, you know, hosted in Los Angeles. So, you know, I had been in LA for 5 years at that point, and I was like, oh, come on, man, there's got to be someone that I know, there's got to be someone with a connection, someone with something. I got to get to the Grammys. And not for the show, just literally just to meet this guy on the red carpet. I made a declaration that I really wanted to meet him, and I really had to make this happen, and just whatever was going to go, I needed this. I needed this in my life, because after all, where there is a will, there is always a way. I got through 6 checkpoints and tweeted and Ustreamed crashing the Grammys. 2 of which were police checkpoints. I never lied through any of them. I never had to like do anything sort of facetious. I literally walked in and crashed the Grammys. You can read, and actually all the stories that I'm going to tell you guys today, you can go to talknerdymelover.com. They're up at the upper header. So you can read like exactly the breakdown of how I was able to do it. But I crashed the Grammys. This is me next to Access Hollywood. That's Jason Mraz. That's my finger. And this is Chester from Lincoln Park. I was literally shoulder to shoulder with him. There's the Situation from Jersey Shore. Yeah. And there's Pete Cashmore. Within 5 minutes of me crashing the Grammys, I saw Pete walk onto the Grammy red carpet. And of course, like, I was so shocked. First of all, like, I literally took a dress from my closet, barely put on makeup. That morning had the flu and didn't even know it. Didn't even research when the Grammys were. Just in my gut, just said, okay, you know, I was Ustreaming that morning and I was like, guys, I really don't have a connection. And I said before, like literally live, I still have the archive footage. I was like, if this really works, you have to understand that where there's a will, there's a way. And I kept tweeting and broadcasting what I was doing, hoping that someone somewhere would hook a sister up, and no one even did. But if I was going to fail, I was going to fail really big. I was going to be like the girl that failed to crash the Grammys, because even that was more epic than the girl that pseudo tried to crash it. I was like, no, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to really, really, really do it. Within 5 minutes of me actually doing it, I wound up seeing him, and like I was over by Access Hollywood. He was just walking onto the carpet, and I completely freak out, like literally start running towards him, like just completely just nervous. And then, of course, the first words that make it out of my mouth were, I recognized you by your jawline. I don't know why. I don't know what that came out of my mouth. But he was amazing. He actually was the one that was like, would you like a picture? Because I was like standing there literally like, I mean, albeit, yeah, he's gorgeous, but that does nothing for me. It was more just a matter of, holy crap, where there's a will, there's a way is absolutely true. Oh my God, how did I just do this? So total out-of-body experience moment for me here. So that was in January for the Grammys. Do what you love and the money will follow. In February of 2010, Ford was picking their latest agents for the Ford Fiesta movement. The Fiesta movement is where Ford gives a bunch of social media kids a Fiesta to drive around in for 6 months and document their adventures in social media, competing in missions and stuff. So this guy that he's a big YouTuber in LA, he had contacted me with my experience based in live streaming from working for live video, and because I had my own site now, he was like, we should really try to go for this. I think we could win it. So we submit, and after 40 background checks, literally, I get picked for the Ford Fiesta movement. And I'm sent to Dearborn, Michigan to learn how to drive a Fiesta. This is me actually learning how to drive stick with a camera crew and a professional driver teaching me, which was like way less scarier than when my dad tried teaching me when I was 16. Like I'm from Connecticut and I did not want to mess up our car. That was literally the scariest moment of my life. But because of the Fiesta movement, Ford had obviously given us the car and given the gas card. I then had an opportunity presented to me. I was really, really, really frustrated with my life. Like, I had already had the breakup, I had all these things sort of going on, my grandmother was dying, I was sort of unsure of where I wanted to take my career. I knew it was in social media, and I knew it was in this website, but I just wasn't sure what it all meant. I was still consulting, I was chasing invoices from people, I was like, this just sucks. There's nothing in the scenario that doesn't suck. Everything about my life sucks except this website. I just want to do the website. How do people launch businesses? How can I just do this website? So I'm like, all right, I have a car, I have gas. I'll move into the car. Why not? It's perfectly rational. I then gave up everything I owned in May of 2010 and actually moved into the Ford Fiesta. You can see these are 6 compartments in the back where I set up, they're like little leopard things that I put in all my clothes. I gave up everything I owned that wasn't corporate sponsored, so pretty much all the t-shirts and all the everything that I had in there were given to me. And I slept down at Lincoln and Rose, adjacent to the Venice Family Clinic Center right there in Venice, which now you honestly can't even do anymore. As of like a couple months ago, they just they start towing cars now, so even if I were to try to do this now, I wouldn't be able to. The timing was perfect. But yeah, this is the car I slept in, and it was super rad. And I drove to Hollywood every like afternoon, like early morning, because you have to get up, like walkers start coming in at like 6:30. So like you have to, like I didn't want people to see I was sleeping in my car. You could really get a ticket. It's totally illegal in California. So I won't say don't do it, but just don't get caught. And yeah, so I had to get up pretty early, and then I worked out of this cafe in Hollywood called Cafe Solar. They had the best Wi-Fi in LA. And I would take naps on Venice Beach when I was tired and just go back and sleep in the car. I was so happy. I was happier than a pig in shit. Here I am. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. All I'm doing is stuff that I love. I was this, kid from Connecticut who came from, this sort of crazy life that was mine, that I was doing really successfully on paper, but that made me miserable. I was like, what is going on? Why is none of this making sense? So, left all of that. This is my actual very first weekend being homeless. I technically call it urban camping because I don't want to be derogatory in any fashion. So it's my first weekend urban camping, and I'm actually in a penthouse suite in Santa Monica at the Shangri-La Hotel. One of the missions from Ford was to do like a live stream event, and they basically gave us like $10,000 just to throw this party. And I had a friend who was the concierge of the Shangri-La Hotel. And I hit him up. I was just like, hey, dude, I was like, what about, us throwing the party here so we can throw it at a hotel bar, and can we negotiate a rate for the penthouse suite? So there you go. And that's also corporate-sponsored socks and a corporate-sponsored blanket. I leverage Ford. Go big or go home. When it came to starting a business, I was very conscious of the fact that fear will absolutely get in your way. You cannot be in business for yourself and be afraid in anything. It's not a possibility. Fear is a stumbling block. You have to overcome it. So I was at least aware of that just from, reading a bunch of business books and just, general life knowledge. So go big or go home. I created this little sheet, and I started posting on the sites all my fears. And number one at the very, very, very top of my list was heights. I'm petrified of heights. I've blacked out before. I literally get to a point where, like when I was a foreign exchange student in France, I don't know if anyone's ever been, but when you go up the Eiffel Tower, it's actually a glass elevator, and then it's open air heights at the first leg of it. So I'm, 15, 16, and literally like clinging to a pole in front of all of my friends too. So I was like just the nerdiest human being, or not even nerdy, it was dorky. So there I was, like clung to this pole, just fearing for my life that I was gonna die. I was literally so petrified of heights. So I decided, okay, I have to go skydiving. Have to go skydiving. So I did. I reached out to itsthesheets.com, had been contacting me and wanting to do something sort of crazy, and I sort of became the crazy girl. When you move into your car, you become like the risk taker, and you become like the one that thinks outside the box, really. So I contacted them, and I said, well, if you really want to do something, I said, I really want to go skydiving. So they sponsored my skydive, and I was very scared. And they sponsored it on the condition that I wore the sheet. Like I did a live stream going up, sort of talking about my fears and documenting the drive and stuff like that. And I was like, I will wear your sheets as Cape of Awesome. And like talk about how awesome the sheets are, because they really genuinely are, like super, super, super soft. But I was so scared I wound up using it as a security blanket. Me going up, it was so scary. But look, this is the face of fear. In this moment, I'm facing my biggest fear. Look at that face. Look at that face. I literally was one of the coolest experiences of my life. Ever. Skydiving's so rad. I totally want to get certified now. I want to do like a halo jump. Like it's literally, which is a high altitude, low oxygen or low opening dive. This was one of the greatest moments of my life. But I faced my fear. That was amazing. And it also too taught me that when you sort of throw yourself at the world and you just release and let yourself go, that the world had my back. Never was there like, I expected skydiving to feel like a roller coaster in that first drop where you sort of like feel your like pit of your stomach. And it wasn't, because it's just basic physics. You're traveling at X rate, which is the same, or similar rate to which you're falling, so you never feel a drop. You're consistently supported. That was the gnarliest thing ever, that when you face your fear and you throw yourself at the world, I'm not in control of anything in this situation. I could have died in this moment, no joke. And I actually did research too. I contacted this crowd in Germany to see if I could actually live stream a skydive, because I was like, dudes, if I'm gonna die doing this, I at least want to be the chick that live streamed it and like captures like the moment of death. So it's gonna cost $14,000, so I didn't do it. But this moment, that face is the face of fear. Luck is opportunity meeting preparation. I'm a very prepared person, always. Why am I prepared? Because I gave up everything that I owned. So I pretty much always have everything on me at any given time. I have a backpack sponsored by Samsung and had collected a bunch of goodies from like various sponsorships and stuff like that, like a flip cam from Ford, a flip cam from AOL, and then have accrued since even more stuff. But I always had all this stuff on me, and always just, again, when you're a minimalist, you're just very, very, very prepared. So I was in a Houston airport in June of 2010, which is hilarious that I was even in Houston. I still cannot remember what I was there for, but it was hilarious because, again, I had $10 to my name for a year. So in May, I became broke. I'm not even talking broke. I'm talking like cannot go and purchase a coffee from the coffee shops I'm staying in. I have since gone back and have been giving them a lot of business and promotion. But yeah, I mean, I'm not even kidding you. Morning, noon, and night, I would post where I was, and people would either come by and buy me a coffee or come by and buy me a sandwich, which to me was like the most humbling thing ever, because here I am coming from all this money in Connecticut and coming from this successful career. People are like buying me stuff. This is weird. Like even in relationships, like I was always the sugar mama. I never let guys buy me things. It made me feel really awkward and uncomfortable. So being in this moment, I was able to be the recipient, and someone was like, they could, have the gift of giving. It was so freaking amazing. So I was in Houston, and I sit down, and just waiting for my flight. It was a Southwest flight. And this gnarly looking dude sits down next to me, like super gnarly, like epic beard. He's wearing this really cool leather jacket, super skinny dude, just itty bitty. And all these stewardesses are coming up to him, and he had just mentioned one of them. He's like, I just got back from Buenos Aires. So when she leaves, I like strike up a conversation with him, and I was like, dude, I'll totally want to go there one day. Can you tell me what I need to find or what I need to know about Buenos Aires? So we started talking, and I was like, what were you there for? And he goes, I'm in a band. I said, no way, this is so cool. I was like, can I find you on YouTube? Thinking in the back of my head, like, oh yeah, I'll post it on the site and be like, hey, I just met this really weird looking dude. And he goes, yeah, just put in YouTube Billy Bones. That was Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top. But it's gnarly. When you only see one of them, like you don't actually automatically assume that it's ZZ Top, even though the beard really is that epic. You just don't really assume it because it's just a onesie. So I just thought he was a really rad looking dude. We wound up striking up a conversation, and the entire time I was tweeting out. So I was able to share with fans of the site and share with my fan base this incredible moment. So big fans of his were able to then ask him in real-time questions. And I was showing him Twitter and all the possibilities of it. And we were taking pictures, and there's an epic video up on the site as well of me and Billy. Literally one of the coolest dudes on the planet. Gave me like an arm massage, like not in like a creepy old man way, but in like a, hey, I feel your pain with carpal tunnel type thing. He was so cool, he even gave me his business card to keep in touch. It just says, Gibbons, friend of Eric Clapton. And in case if you guys were wondering, he uses Earthlink, that's his email address. Had I not been prepared in that moment, I wouldn't have gotten literally the coolest video I've ever seen in my entire life of me and Billy just kind of shooting the shit. and he's like, talk nerdy to me, lover. Like, I mean, he like grabbed my camera. He was so amazing. He was so epic. Had my batteries not been charged, had, I not immediately thought of sending tweets out of my experience, had I been like, oh my goodness, he's gonna think that, I'm so uncool if I'm sharing this. No, I was immediately like, oh no, and this is my Twitter, and now I'm taking a picture of you, and now we're doing this. Like, I was enjoying myself in the moment, but I was very, very, very conscious of capturing it all and capturing everything, and it's still to this day one of the coolest moments of my life. Really, really, really gnarly dude, like just unbelievably gnarly dude. BJ Diet. Yes, and it is what you think it is. So I was hungry. So this was in July of 2010. I was, again, part of the Ford Fiesta movement. So when I was fortunate enough that using their gas card, I was able to like get Powerade and stuff like that. Like we were only like strictly like, we had to sign a contract saying you would only get gas. So like I basically just would do like a one-off of, okay, well, one Powerade and one small item. I always kept it to like under $2. I was like, Ford's never gonna notice. But one of the things I started eating the most was a lot of beef jerky. And so I contacted this crowd in July after the Fiesta movement had ended. I had contacted this beef jerky crowd and said, hey, I want to eat your product for 30 days. Just beef jerky. I'll call it the BJ Diet on Twitter. I just kind of want to do it because I think it's cheeky, it's fun. Fans of my site will enjoy reading it. It's crazy and scandalous enough that I can blow up the hashtag. I think this is cool. They shoot me down, like immediately. They're like, you are insane. No one can survive off of eating beef jerky for 30 days. No one can you're insane, get out of our face, but here are some, Google links to if you actually do this, you're gonna like kill yourself. You get like scurvy, you can get like weird like diseases and stuff. No, really true. But I disagreed with them. I said, no, I think there's really something here. Something inside of me just said, no, I'm gonna keep going. So I did. I contacted, I actually posted first on our Facebook Live page. I said, what would you guys think about me eating beef jerky for 30 days and documenting? So within like the hour, we had like 50 plus comments. And I then took that to, I forgot how I contacted them directly, but I then took that to their competition. And basically said, hey, my name's Jen Friel, this is what I do. And at that point, I was able to say, these are some of my sponsors. Here's the market research. Fans of my site will absolutely be engaged and read this. Here's the hashtag, here's everything. Would you want to do this? So I ate beef jerky for 30 days. It was a lot of chewing and a lot of benefiber. I balanced it out with Skinny Water, who's another sponsor on the site. And basically, their water is very vitamin enriched. So basically, like in one or two servings, you have your entire vitamins for the day. So for the first day, I was just on straight water, and I could actually feel my creativity just going down next to nothing. I'm a freakishly creative person. I always have headphones in my ears. I'm always like thinking of jelly beans and how I can dissect them and what the crystals would look like. Like I'm very airy in that regard. Literally. So yes, I could feel that going down to literally nothing. So if you ever like hang out with someone that eats a lot of beef jerky, it's probably not them. If they're like a little slower, it could just be the beef jerky. But then after that, I started drinking Skinny Water. I was perfectly fine. I didn't die, didn't get scurvy, but I had groceries for a month. I was able to keep doing what I loved for another month. That was amazing. Oh my goodness. How can I go from sleeping in a car to now sleeping on a fan of the site's couch to now having groceries? This is amazing. How does this happen? I'm able to support myself doing just this one thing that I love morning, noon, and night. Totally amazing. Nerds Unite, an analysis of 103 OkCupid dates in 9 months. I accidentally went out on 103 dates in 9 months. Swear to God, true story. So I'm couch surfing, and I also too, again, just totally had my heart demolished. Like, especially to, I don't know what it's like for dudes to rebound, but like for chicks, like just my everything was just gone. So a friend one day was just like, you gotta start dating, you gotta start doing something. Like, what are you doing? All you're doing is working. Like, you're throwing all your energy into the site. This is kind of BS. You have to have balance. So I created a profile on OkCupid, and basically, again, couch surfing. Didn't have any money, literally. So I'm like, I can't even date. I'm not gonna let guys like buy me stuff. That's just too weird. So I put in my OkCupid profile, if you buy me a drink, I will give you a hug. And 103 dates later, I gave out a lot of hugs. This one thing totally changed my life, and I had no idea. I accidentally, I went out on 96 dates in 8 months before I actually realized I could turn it into a thesis. It was sort of a social experiment. I was talking about it as a social experiment. I had a disclaimer in my profile because I screen capped emails guys gave me. I was always very cautious about not revealing people's identities, screen names. I blocked a lot of stuff out, but this totally changed my everything. I wound up, this is now going to be the scripted show. So the producers of Wedding Crashers and Elf and Meet the Fockers and The Bourne Supremacy, they're turning this into Sex and the City for nerds. Out of the 103 dates in 9 months, I had 11 second dates. There were 6 guys I slept with, and there were 4 dudes I wanted more from. And I used that sort of openly because I wasn't sure if I wanted a relationship, but I knew I wanted to pursue something with them. All 4 of them were emotionally unavailable. That is the organic root of attraction, something that was inside of me. All the butterflies, all the things that I felt within these guys was actually something in me. I had an 85% prerequisite on the OKC algorithm, so it wasn't even like there was some randomness to it. It was all very mathematical. We are apparently compatible. We were compatible, but the one thing that was intangible was chemistry. And all chemistry taught me was that, goodness gracious, life is reflective. Oh my God, how am I in this situation again? So I'm still single. And you can read the post. I'm really mad. I'm really mad in this post. I'm like, how am I still single after 103 dates in 9 months? So it totally wasn't a success. But now I've consulted a shaman, a modern day shaman, who's been helping me with Reiki and all that crazy stuff, which is really cool because there are modern day shamans in Hollywood, which I just think is the raddest thing ever. So he's really cool. But again, this is totally accidental. And I was already talking with these producers anyway about just my life, and they were really into my lifestyle. One of them, I was contacted to be a tastemaker for Hot Tub Time Machine. And I didn't know it, but one of the PR guys was like, Jen, you need to introduce the movie. Go. Hands me a microphone. I'm like, hi, I'm Jen Friel with TalkNerdyToMeLover.com. You all need to check it out. This whole thing, it's really lively and spirited opening. One of the producers and one of the suits at MGM actually contacted me. He sent me an email on Facebook. And he was like, hey, he's like, cool stuff, or something like that. It was very just kind of a one-liner. And I was all, oh my God, thank you so much for reading, so genuine. I don't even think I clicked the guy's profile, to be honest with you. Just my ADD is so all over the place. Don't even think I clicked his profile. Had no idea who he was, but he's just like, I'd like to buy you lunch. And I was like, so rad, I get lunch too? I was like, this is great. So he took me to a sushi lunch, and now I'm in business with him. But had that not happened, and just me being so passionate about the brand in general and being so organic and genuine of no, this is what you can do in the industry, this is what you need to do, this entire experience wouldn't have happened. And albeit now it's turned into, the dating experiment, but that's still amazing and still, again, completely organic. Has anyone here heard of The Game? The Game? Ah, yes. Evil, evil, evil book. No, I take that back. It's not evil. But one of the things that this guy used to break my heart was The Game. It's just this guide for guys. For those that don't know, since the majority of you don't know what this is, it's basically a guide for dudes to sort of learn how to bed women. It uses science, and it uses a lot of psychological tricks like neurolinguistic programming and anchoring, and there are a lot of techniques and stuff that guys can do. And as females, empower yourself. Just don't be a victim. Just read the thing, because a lot of guys really do genuinely use this. And every time that happens, you can spot it, and you're like, ha ha ha, I know what you're doing. So that happened, which was gnarly too, because we were literally living directly above the borders. So not only did all of that happen, but I literally could have gone down to the borders to actually read the book on what was being happened to me, which is just hilarious in and of itself. But because of my 103 dates in 9 months, I got contacted by this crowd, Wing Girl Method, Marty that runs it, and she was doing a seminar with Neil Strauss, and was like, hey, would you like to take Neil's students into the field? Obviously now I have this expertise, so I'm going to go share it. I then tweeted Neil. I was like, this conference has renewed my faith in men. Way to go. Can't wait to take the guys in the field. Nerds Unite. Neil retweets me. Neil Strauss retweets me. Thanks for being there. Not only did I meet the dude that wrote eye-opening experience of understanding how neurotic men really are at bars and how it's really less about the douchiness. Some guys will absolutely take this tool and be douches, but some will just use it to understand people and understand social dynamics. So that was amazing. But how amazing is this? Are you kidding me? Not even like a year and some change later? Like, what is going on? That is literally the most incredible thing on this planet. I was blown away. It was such a full circle moment for me, and it was really rad to not be so angry anymore and to just sort of let this go, because that was literally a big reason as to why I started the website. So here I am, sort of now dealing with this guy and not being mad at him. I could have decked him, could have slapped him and how dare you? And all I wanted to do was thank him. I was like, dude, this is so rad, thank you. So, total amazing life lesson. Be present always. I can't stress this enough. I study Zen Buddhism. I've been studying it for now almost a decade, and I never actually implemented any of the principles into my life. They were just sort of again, on my wall, on Facebook status updates, on all these things. But I actually started being present. I started meditating. I started really feeling what consciousness is and exploring and asking a ton of questions, and it literally changed my life. I'm not even kidding you guys. Right now is the greatest time to be alive. Right now, in this very present moment, the most epic time to be alive. 2 years ago, I started a business, accidentally, with $10 to, the site actually only cost me $10, but I invested $10 in the website just to secure the domain. 2 years later, it's now well into the six figures. Literally, and we're in a recession. How did I make so much money? I now have 2 TV shows in development and a book deal. Are you freaking kidding me? We have a staff of 50 writers on the site, and I have a staff of 6 behind the scenes. That is the most insane thing ever. I'm just one person who's fiercely passionate and willing to do anything to get the job done. Literally, I had one thing that made me happy in this world. Prior to that, I had 24 years of depression. Literally, I came out of the womb just with the gnarliest experiences as a kid. I had a really, really, really rocky childhood, and I just said, F it, I'm awesome. Literally, I'm awesome, and your awesome is organic, and no one can take that from me. I'm not going to be the victim anymore. I'm not going to let these things happen to me. I'm going to own it. And I channeled my creativity into one outlet, which just so happened to be the online medium. I just really genuinely was passionate about the online space, about social media. To me, there's a rhythm and a movement to it. What I do as a life caster is totally art to me. Very, very, very conscious of that. But that's my piece to the world. That's my thing. That's my awesome. That's where my energy resides. What's your awesome? It's already inside of you. You can learn again, I didn't go to college, so you guys are already one step ahead of me on that one. But I never did this. But I was consistently searching from teachers, searching from parents, searching for friends. Someone give me a passion. Give me a reason to wake up in the morning. Give me something. I was on Zoloft. I was on every anti-anxiety ever. I literally took 6 pills a day. Literally. I haven't taken anything in almost 2 years. That is insane. Literally. But I just found something I really believed in. And I found sort of my passion inadvertently. It sort of found me. All I did was say on November 3rd, 2009, this feels good. Literally, the biggest decision of my life was made on my roommate's bed. It wasn't even made on my own bed. That's huge. I saw a trend and I said, you know what, I'd really like to play. I'd really, really, really like to explore the space. And I did. But that's it. There was no epic moment of here it is on a silver platter. This is the way your life is supposed to go. This is the way things are supposed to be. I already knew the answers inside of me. I didn't talk to my family for 6 months while all of this was going down. My friends stopped talking to me. Everyone was like, she has gone off the deep end. She is living in her car. I saw something in this space that other people didn't. And I saw nothing but opportunity and nothing but just happiness. Everything that I was just right there. And for the first time, my life made sense. And even if I wasn't receiving the validation from my family and from my friends, I didn't really care. Because again, your awesome is organic. It's already inside of you. You don't need to seek it from other people. And if you have other people around you and you have other people telling you, this is amazing, this is so good, do you have any idea how many people supported me as a model and as an actor? Who does that? Who even supports that? It's okay, you're one of a million, go play, whatever. I should have been so proud of myself, but all I did was just show up and smile. Now I wake up literally every single day this jazzed to be alive. I've been up since 5:30, and I'm never up that early, by the way, so this is a really big deal. I've been talking all day. I'm still jazzed to be alive, and I can still do this 5 more times. That's it. Literally. And albeit I'm on 5 Diet Cokes right now. But it's so true that it's the greatest time to be alive right now, and you guys are the greatest generation too. There's something really, really, really special in this space that we were the ones that blew into our Nintendo cartridges. We were the ones that, dealt with dial-up. We were the ones that sort of were this, to us it was playing back then. We were sort of diddling on computers. I was typing when I was 2 before I even realized what typing was. I used to look at my Pound Puppy books and say, I want to make this shape this shape. Wow, I can make this pop up on the screen. This is fun. And literally sat there for hours as a kid and had a little computer company when I was 8 called Computers Anonymous. This was always something that was inside of me, but it was something I wasn't willing to accept. And it was something that I wasn't willing to sort of even enter into my frame of consciousness. I totally denied being a nerd. And albeit, yeah, now it's definitely way more socially acceptable, but I was denying a piece of myself. And I was definitely denying my awesome. You have to embrace every bit of your personality. You have to embrace every bit of everything that you feel inside of you. I literally have the most batshit adventures. Literally. Go to the site, talknerdymelover.com. I have the most batshit adventures you could ever imagine. But that randomness, in math, randomness is a pattern, that randomness has given me a brand and has given me one channel to operate on, which has led to my success in life, at least at this present moment. That's a very success is a personal thing. But I'm not even kidding you. Get off your butts. Go do stuff. You have 86,400 seconds in this day. Maximize it. I sleep for 7 hours, and I hustle morning, noon, and night. I'm reaching out to people on Twitter. I'm talking to people in coffee shops. I'm hanging out with fans of the site. I'm building, the community. Anything it takes, I will do it to get it done. Morning, noon, and night, because it's my passion. And I can't not do it. And now I have a full team behind me, and where it's going, I'm just excited, and I'm just sort of along for the ride. But get off your butts. Literally right now. Stop looking to other people. I wasted so much of my life looking for other people, waiting for them to say, this is what you should do, Jen. This is your life. This is your passion. This is where you're supposed to go. Or, this is the ring. This is the ring. This is the guy. This is what you're going to do. I wasn't waiting for a ring. I was waiting for a life. I was waiting for someone to give me a life and to give me purpose. I found my purpose and my passion. That's crazy. How does that happen? And totally accidentally. Find me on Twitter. This is my Facebook. This is my email address. It's all posted too as well on talknerdytomelover.com. I make it really easy for you guys, and I'll go over the site in just a second. Reach out to me. I'm so in this space, it's ridiculous. Literally, I eat, sleep, and breathe it. I'm always online. If you guys ever have questions, you are never, ever, 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 ever bothering me. Ever. I love answering them. So please, for me, I need to give back. People took care of me for a year, morning, noon, and night. I will spend the rest of my life on this planet helping people grow and understand and be empowered through technology, because there is so much in this space. Again, I'm not special, just awesome, and anyone else in this space can do it too. It's just where your passion is and where your awesome resides, but it's again already inside of you. So stop looking at other people to tell you, because it's just not going to happen. But let me show you the site. And I will warn you guys too, it's very much PG-13 to R. So this is not work safe. This is definitely not school safe. You can read about a humiliating experience that I had over the weekend as well. Literally bawling my eyes out. One more thing I wanted to show you guys before I go into the site is spirit hoods. I have a story for you on spirit hoods. So these crazy animal hats. When I was staying on a couch in the valley with actually a guy I met off OKC, but totally platonic, totally platonic. Stayed there for a couple months. He came in one day with this crazy husky hat on. Crazy, when a husky walks into a room, you can't not help but take notice and feel like this is the most absurd thing on the planet. But I took one look at him and I was like, whatever this is, whatever is going on your head right now, I need to know immediately. My entire life I've been a trend spotter. It's sort of a visceral response of, need to know now. I get really jazzed and really excited about trends. So he came in with this crazy, freaky looking hat, and I wound up contacting them. I was like, these things are amazing. Like, let me post about them on the site. I always have hoodies on and headphones in. I was like, I need to talk to them. So I sent one of the founders an email. I found his email online and basically told him my spiel. Not long after I got denied. So I was like, all right, cool. Thank you so much. Thanked him profusely. Thanked him for his time. Thanked him for the response back. So he put sort of a wall there, and I just sort of went around it. I posted a PayPal link on the site, and a couple weeks later was my birthday. So I asked fans of the site, like, hey guys, I never ask you for money. That was another really important thing. I never asked for money. People only donated, food, donated coffee, anything to keep me writing, but I never asked for money because I never needed money. Social media was power. The lowest hanging fruit in social media was everybody, so I could just tweet people and get stuff. Amazing. So I put up the thing on the site, basically asking people for money, just to get the Spirit Hood. And within a couple days, we raised enough money. And these things are expensive, like $130. So I started posting on it and posted a link for Spirit Hoods on the site. Obviously, all that gets traced back. So when you click from one website to another, you can figure out where sort of the traffic came from. Within a couple weeks, I get an email from one of the founders and the head of their marketing, apologizing profusely. Apologizing profusely. We are so sorry. We had no idea. Just based on the traffic that we generated. I wound up getting not only an apology email, but an invite to come down to the workshop, hang out, and pick out as many hoods as I wanted. And my former co-editor is actually now the head of their social media. His name's Morgan, really rad dude. Because we literally sold so many. Again, I was presented with, a no. But because I believed that I could sell their product, because I genuinely believed in it, I was like, dude, these things are ridiculous. These things are totally going to be a trend. They're the most absurd thing I've ever seen. These are amazing. I need to know about them. I need to have them. I need to tell others. That's just in me. I can't not sell things to people. I love it. I totally get just off on telling people about shit that doesn't suck. Like literally. I'm like, no, you need this in your life because you need to experience a Spirit Hood because it's the most weird and random thing and people will randomly come up and pet you. And that is amazing. Like literally, you're just like at the grocery store. Sometimes that's kind of creepy, other times not so much. Sometimes it's enjoyed. But yeah, again, he said no to me. So I literally just presented them with another option and went a different route. But Spirit Hoods are amazing. And also too, that got me dancing on stage with Prince. You can read more about the story. It's up here somewhere. But yeah, because of my Spirit Hood, my roommate had gotten passes, and now I have a corporate sponsored apartment, by the way. But my roommate had gotten passes to the Prince concert, and I was wearing it at check-in, like the night owl, because I had just gotten it. And I was like all jazzed and excited, and all these people are looking at me like, who is this weird girl with this crazy hat? And I'm all just like, this is the greatest thing ever, kind of like dancing with it, just, again, in my own little world. And the guy in line was like, this is the coolest hat I've ever seen. Here. He hands me this golden wristband. That was family VIP for Prince. I danced on stage with Susan Sarandon and Craig Robinson from Hot Tub Time Machine and was sitting directly in front of, not next to, not behind, but in front of Halle Berry and Olivier Martinez. Hands down, top 5 life moment. But yeah, I mean, you guys can see these are definitely not for the workplace or anything like that. I'm very honest. I post about literally everything. I have no filter, so I'm not ever offended. I checked in on Foursquare to an orgy. I did a ride-along in a Vegas taxi cab during CES. I worked at a strip club, not as a stripper, but as a cocktail server for a night, and that was just horrible. I trimmed pot in Northern California, which is a really rad thing, like kind of spiritual and kind of just amazing. But I do this. I just went on a date with VH1's Tough Love. If you guys see the show, Steve Ward. I asked him out on Ustream and got us a corporate sponsored date a couple weeks ago. Thank you, Blowfish Shoes, blowfishshoes.com. Really rad too. They're like not heavy at all. I really like the shoes. I'm normally a Vans girl, so this is like a big deal. This is my life. It's my soul. It's my passion. It's the reason why I'm on this earth. There's not a shadow of a doubt about that. I really believe in this. But again, this is just my piece of awesome. What's yours? Go. Find it. And it's, again, one of these things where even when I started the site, it still wasn't even sure it was going to be a business. I didn't really turn a profit until after the first year, because first I had to measure my influence and really have a tangible item that I can present to people and say, yes, this is how many I can sell. But fortunately, because of Spirit Hoods, I was able to do that. I had tangible evidence of, wow, I sold a lot, and you just poached my co-editor, and now he's the head of your social media. That's amazing. But I had to have something to present to people, and I had to have something to give them, and then I did, and now I literally lead a corporate-sponsored life. I have adventures all day, every day. I travel around the country, and I just hang out and play with people and get people to give me money to do cool shit and launch an entire business off of it. So insane, but that's my personality. So now I'm even like even more of a happier clam, because I'm like, all I get to do every day is play. But that's me. It's not for everyone. Living out of a backpack and sleeping on couches and sort of being very alternative is definitely not for everyone. But it was just for me. And I love it, and I share it every day. But again, I'm just one piece of the pie. Megan here also writes for the site. She just graduated from college in December. We have 50 other writers that write, and they all contribute their sort of good word of the nerd. I'm so humbled to be here today. I can't express that enough. This is literally, like I said, one of the coolest things I've ever done. Which after all these stories, it's still really freaking cool. But thank you all so much for having me here. Thank you, just thank you. And here's all of my contact info. If you go to Talk Nerdy Me Lover, it's the second post down. I give you guys a what's up. And you can find my email. You can find my Facebook. You can find my Twitter. If you liked our talk, you can like us on Facebook. But I really mean this. Like, I'm just doing something that I loved. I just so happened to turn it into a business and to align a team of people. Mashable's Ben Parr. I mean, oh my God, I adore this dude. How does he have 15% of my company and we're taking it to another level? Like, you're like one of the most influential people on the internet. How did you just get to me, this crazy girl that does weird stuff? And oh no, I got their attention for sure. But I just did it morning, noon, and night because I was so passionate about it and so sort of crazy that I was like, holy crap, this could totally work. And it totally did. But get off your butts. It's the greatest time to be alive right now. You could all start a business after this talk, if you so choose. Or maybe you want to get together with a team of people and go do something or go play or go whatever. You'll find your own bit of something. But just know that it works. Because where there's a will, there's always a way. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely true. And thank you so much for having me.
Don't be. She's
the
least intimidating person on the planet.
No, dudes, yeah, if you guys have questions about literally anything or any of the experiments or whatever, please, too. Like, I'm literally an open book, and you cannot offend me, so it doesn't even have to be tech-related. It can be personal. Yeah.
So you're really just, like, this spontaneous and, like, crazy? Like,
yes.
It just happened like that?
Yes, literally. Even the taxi cab ride in Vegas, I wound up having this meeting with Microsoft. And, again, like, I was sleeping on various floors. Again, I had no money, like literally no money. So I was sleeping on floors and like I was sleeping, there's a chair in the Wyndham and I like totally copped a squat in one night. So I was sort of, doing Vegas very gung-ho, and my meeting ran super late. We were out until like 2 or 3 because they wanted to like go to this club and stuff afterwards, so you can't really say no when you're with suits. So I was like, all right, fine. So I went, but I knew that like at that point I was going to have a cutoff to being able to get access to the floor that I was sleeping on that night. So when all was said and done, it wrapped around 4. I was literally walking around in Vegas completely by myself with my backpack, with like my headphones in. I was even in a skirt. It was really kind of like one of my dumbest moments. And this taxi cab driver pulls up and it's just like, let me give you a ride somewhere. And I was like, dude, I don't have money. I'm sorry. And he's like, no. He's like, you'll get killed. Like, I need to take you somewhere. And so he did. But then he's like, where can I drop you off? And I was like, well, I just have 2 hours to kill. And he's like, well, do you want to go for a ride? I was like, sure. So he pulls me in the front seat, and I take a picture. He winds up having to do this errand, so he gets out of the car for a minute. I take a picture of his license. I send it to a friend of mine. I said, if I die, this is the guy who killed me. If I live, I will have the greatest story ever. And I had the greatest story ever. It was so much fun. I learned the Vegas hustle from a true hustler. And yeah, morning, noon, and night. I have no attachments. I now have an apartment, but it's paid for. And I just play. I just got invited to a NASCAR race on Sunday in Phoenix, like while we were at like recession and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I just morning, noon, and night. Like, I'm the world's, especially social media's perpetual +1. If you have a crazy adventure and no one to go with, call me. Like, I will absolutely be like, yes, and I will probably figure out a way to get it sponsored as well. To me, it's a business, but it's just, again, something that I genuinely enjoy. So I just sort of connect the dots and give people a reason to, you know, give me stuff. It's narrative advertising. I tell stories and integrate products into it to keep it afloat. So it works. Any more questions? Yes.
Why are you single?
I don't know. I don't know. I date a lot. I went out, but you can read. I went out on the second page right now. It's like literally one of the most humiliating stories ever. I don't know. I probably put work first too much because everything, like even this guy that we had an amazing date on Friday and then he hung out on Saturday and totally humiliated me. I will literally not even. You have to just read it. Just read the post. I've never been more humiliated in my life. I cannot utter the words out of my mouth right now. But I don't know, something in me is still attracted to those kind of guys. I'm learning how to break a pattern for sure. But what are the next doable actions when it comes to emotional pattern breaking? I don't know. But I know I'm working on it and documenting all of my adventures in the meantime, which are usually pretty epic and just so awful. Like, so awful. It sucks being a single female. Like, LA dating is horrible. Chicago was really amazing though. I just went to Chicago to speak at a conference. And the dudes there are so rad. So I'm also thinking too, it's probably LA. But yeah, but if any of you want to ask me out too, I'm totally single. And I'm just putting that out there. I'm on OkCupid, I'm on the Twitter, I'm on the Facebook, and I'm totally single if you want to come up to LA.
And drink for a hug?
Yeah, a drink for a hug for sure. Any more questions? Yes.
What's like the craziest thing you've done?
Wow, that is such a loaded question. Let me scroll up. The craziest thing I've done. I don't know. I mean, they're all crazy. I crashed an SNL party when I was 17. Like literally, and like got into a bar as well. That was a pretty gnarly story. Basically, this guy, so I moved to New York. I finished high school when I was 16, and then I moved to New York City to study acting at the Lee Strasberg Theater Institute. And this one guy, the only person that I knew in New York, had come to speak at our class earlier when I was in junior year. His name is Michael Shore. He's now the executive producer and I think creator of Parks and Rec. But at the time, he was writing for SNL. I think he was actually a head writer. So he came to like motivate our class and speak to us. So I was like hell-bent on meeting this guy. I was like, okay, this just has to happen. So, like, at the time, this is 2001, 2002, you couldn't just email people randomly. Like, that was, like, considered very creepy and stalkerish. But I tried. I tried a whole bunch of, like, at NBC, at all these things to sort of try and figure out his address. That didn't happen. So, I then just decided one day, I was like, dude, you know, SNL's a live show. I'll just figure out how to crash the thing. So, I grabbed my friend, because at the time, I needed a friend to do this stuff. And we went down to Rockefeller Plaza, and obviously we couldn't get into the show taping, but I saw a whole bunch of limos and stuff lined up outside, so I was like, oh, let's just talk to the limo driver and figure out where the after party is and just crash it. Which, again, at 17, it sounds totally normal to just walk into a bar, but I did. We totally sweet-talked the driver into at least getting the address, and then as I was walking in, this part was completely coincidental. This woman just happened to be walking by with this beautiful pashmina, which is like for dudes, it's like a wrap. It's like a type of, it's like a type of cloth thing. And it was just genuinely beautiful, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, this color looks spectacular on you. I just have no filter, and words just come out of my mouth. So I started talking to her, and she literally is walking in. She was apparently some bigwig. I had no idea who she was. And she literally, I walked in directly with her. Had no idea. And then I was like saying to my friend, like, I'll meet you outside in a minute. And I wound up getting her in, and I wound up finding Michael, and he's like, how old are you, and where did you come from? I completely freaked him out. But then he high-fived me, because he's like, that's so cool. I was like, I know, how am I the bard? I'm 17. I'm very much a go-getter. I don't know, I have no fear. Because again, I started crossing off the lists, and I started crossing off all of my fears, especially when it came to starting a site. But I've always sort of been a little off. But now, again, I just have reasons to be off. I have a reason that when my friend comes back from Northern California and says, I just went trimming pot, my immediate impulse was, oh my God, when can I go too? Flash forward 7 hours later, I'm in a car going to an undisclosed location. And like literally, it's like a Busch Gardens ride where like your body's like flapping around. Like you go and you park your car somewhere and a truck meets you. And then you go from the truck to another truck to then somewhere up the mountain. I'm not even kidding you. That was one of the coolest things ever. And that night there was an earthquake. We were in this like little rinky, like little cabin, and there just so happened to be an earthquake. So I'm like in this like little cabin with like 16 other people, like didn't speak a lick of English. Like they were from all over the world, literally. And I'm just like, lift our head up. I'm like, am I dead? Nope. Okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep because we got a trim in the morning. One of the coolest experiences ever. But yeah, I mean, everything. Like I said, I checked in on Foursquare to an orgy. I got caught at LAX with a sex toy and had to like remove batteries. But now I know you cannot go through LAX with a sex toy. You know, I posted how I lost my virginity. I accidentally went out on this date a couple weeks ago. This guy asked me out on Twitter, and I didn't realize he was asking me out. I thought he was just a fan of the site wanting to hang out. Morning, noon, and night. Just stories, man. Like, so many things. But I finally created a platform in which I could share these experiences. Because before, I just had all these weird things happen to me, but now I have a place for them. So that's my constant. My constant is I will attract just people and energy. I'm a people magnet. So I will attract that, but now I have a reason, like for sane people to contact me and for like crazy adventures. So yeah, lots of them.